hymn 9, mandala 2. Agne Yajasva Havisha Yajiyan. I am deconstructing the accent. Shrushti Deshnam Abhigrinihi Radhas. Radhah. Tvam hi asi, Raipati Rainam, Tvam Shukrasya Vachaso Manota. O fire, be strong for sacrifice, do worship with my oblation. O fire, be strong for sacrifice, do worship with my oblation. Interesting. Swiftly voice my thought towards the gift of the treasure. For thou art the wealth master who has power over the riches. Thou art the thinker of the brilliant word. What a beautiful vision. And there are unusual shifts. Do worship with my oblation. And swiftly voice my thought towards the gift of the treasure. Voice my thought. Express my thought in consciousness. Grinihi. Grinihi literally express in the word. Yeah? Speak towards the Deshnam, towards the gift, Radha's realization. My interpretation is more straightforward. O Agni, make our being sacred or transformed, Yajasva, suitable for your own being. This is I am adding because Yajasva is Atmanepadam. And by the calling offering call, become even greater, Yajiyan, in the power of transformation, Havisha. So with our Havis, and Havis is from the root Hu, to make oblation or offering, and also Hu as a weak form of the root to call. Yeah? So Hota is the one who calls and offers. So with our offering call, so to say, become even greater in the power of transformation. Yajiyan is the comparative adjective. So Yajasva, sacrifice for your own sake with our calling offering, and by that become even greater in the power of transformation. So the more he accepts our offering and grows by this, the more he becomes powerful and mighty in transforming other elements in us. Shrushti Deshnam, Shrushti, hearkening to our call. Shrushti is an interesting translation here, the whole list of things given. It can be used as an indeclinable also, willingly, gladly, immediately, quickly, at once. Obedient, willing. So why? Because it's from root shru, to listen or to hear. Interestingly, that this shru from here, shravas is the inspiring knowledge, shruti from here, is the revelation which came to us. So when revelation comes, when the grace comes, we have to be consciously passive to receive it. We have to be open to it. We have to listen, not to speak. We have to be perceptive of it, not active in our own, whatever is there going on in our mind. And from here we have interesting indication in other languages, like For example, Slavic tribes, Slava is Shravas. Shravas is fame. Why fame? Because what we hear about others, again hearing, that is fame. Fame is when we know about the person before meeting the person. From here, this idea of the fame, Shravas. And also, Shravas is the word. Slovyane, Slavic tribes or Slovianic tribes, that Slovo means the word, the carriers of the word. So the word in hearing, and this is from root shru, interestingly, and from here even slaves. Engels was translating Slavic tribes as slaves, absolute kind of fascist interpretation of the Slavic, which was used later by Hitler, actually. He wanted to destroy Slavs because they were slaves, according to him. But slave because he is listening, he is not acting. He's perceptive, he's passive towards the truth. Yeah, he is not acting on the top of the truth. So you can see the whole spectrum of the ideas around this simple word shru, shravas, shrushti. Shrushti, kind of happily, willingly, gladly receiving at once. Yeah? And also I translate it as hearkening to our call, attending to our quest, being receptive, being perceptive, being passive. Yeah? It's about Agni in this case, being receptive of what we called you for, voice or express in consciousness, in us, the gift realization. So Deshnam Radhas, Deshnam is totally Vedic word. This from Ruddha, to give. Tuvam hi asi raipati rainam. And Rishi repeats twice. Raipati is the Lord of the Reich. Reich is the luminous wealth. You are the Lord of luminous wealth. Sri Aurobindo translates it beautifully. Wealth master, who has power over the regions. Rainam. He repeats it twice. Of all the wealth, you are the wealth master. Indeed, he. Tuvam shukrasya vachaso manota. And you are the thinker or the former in consciousness of the luminous or flaming word. Shukrasya vachasach manota. These are constant epithets to Agni. Notice that hymns are mainly epithets. When they start speaking who Agni is, they will describe him. And this description has to resonate with our consciousness. We have to recognize his qualities. It's quite amazing that Vedic Sanskrit is so rich with all the epithets, with all kinds of descriptions, because these descriptions give us the qualities of the being we want to perceive or to become. There is no better way to do it. Just describe what it is. Yes, Kinshuk.
Sorry, Vladimir, I had to ask. This Havisha is not the word that we are speaking, is not the stotras. Havisha, can you explain a little bit? What could Havisha mean?
Havisha is an instrumental case of Havis, with Havis or by Havis. So literally, yajasva is imperative. So sacrifice for the sake of your own growth, so to say, for yourself, because it's Atmanepadam, with our offering call. It's from root hu, hve. From here we have several words, huti, huta, you know many of them, yeah? Havis, hotar. These are all the words from the same root, which has two different meanings. One is to invoke, call, speak, yeah? And the other is to offer, offering. So offer and call are coinciding in one root. So when you call someone, you offer something. No, you don't call someone to get something from him. Well, nowadays they do that. I call you because I need something from you. No? In the ancient times, it was just the opposite. If you call someone, you have something to offer. Otherwise, you don't call. So, calling and offering. This is in one word. With our call, offer. With our offering call, become even greater, yajiyan, grow stronger in the power of transformation. That's the purpose why we do it. We feed the flame and we transform ourselves. The greater the flame, the more power we have to transform ourselves.
Okay, thank you.
Well, it's kind of logical, no? Of course, that logic always escapes somewhere. We have to come back to it again and again, that the presence of the divine in us has to grow, and that is the way forward. Today I was preparing the file on the progress, what Mother says on the progress. She says that the earthly life is meant for us for a progress, for moving forward. This is Agni, yes? If we do not progress one step at a time, each step we don't progress, we fall back into death. Yeah. So we decline if each step has to be a step forward, progress in consciousness. And that is the flame. That is the leader, Purohita, who is put in front of our journey. And he is from root Aj. Aj is to move forward, actually, to drive forward. From here, Aja is the goat. Goat is the Vahana of Agni, from root for Aj, to move forward. He always moves forward. Yes. And then they translate it as unborn, Aja, but I don't think it is so. It is more from root Aj, to drive forward. He is the engine of our evolution, progress, pragati, the same idea. Yeah? All right, a few more verses. Ubhayam te nakshiyate vasavyam dive jayamanasya dasma kridhi kshumantam haritaramakne kridhi patim suapatyasya rayach. I was revisiting my long ago, like 10 or 15 years back, I was reconstructing the reading of the Veda, how it was read by the Vedic rishis, poetically. And I was just listening to hymn after hymn. I recorded like 12 hymns of Savitar to Surya Savitri. And yeah, I must tell you, this is such a powerful impact. If you hear hymn after hymn, even without really concentrating, the very selection of the syllables, yes, how Rishi composes the verse has its own impact. You could feel it, most probably, yes, in this articulation, in this particular way how he chooses syllables. Ubhayam te nakshiyate vasavyam dive dive jayamanasya dasma kridhi kshumantam jaritaram agne kridhi patim suapatyasya rayach. You could hear the royalty in the word. Yeah? And you don't have to be very highly developed for that. It's there in the syllable. So both kinds of wealth are thine, O potent Godhead, and because thou art born from day to day. Interesting. And because thou art born from day to day, so he's born again and again. Agni is born again and again. He's not there just, doesn't know where to go. No, he's coming all the time onto us. Neither can waste and perish, O fire, make thy adorer one full of possessions. Make him a master of the treasure and of wealth, rich in progeny. Now, when we speak about progeny, we have to understand, we spoke about this before, that progeny is not only the children, but children of our works, children of our thoughts, feelings, everything what we produce and leave behind as our heritage. So we leave something behind. Our thoughts are living beings. If we discovered some thought originally, it stays in the mental realm and it can ignite somebody else. That's what Sri Aurobindo was doing. He was generating these beings, thoughts, feelings, emotions, realizations of subtle kind, which are there now, living and helping us to move forward. My interpretation, your wealth on both sides is not diminished. Nakshiyate is not diminished. Ubhayam of both. Vasavyam, wealth. Or luminous wealth. Or luminous inhabitant or in the substance wealth. Dive dive, day by day, Jayamanasya, of the being born, Dasman, or wonderful. Dasma is the one who does, who is very skillful, whose power is charged with consciousness. It is translated as wonderful mainly, Dasma, accomplishing wonderful deeds, wonderful, extraordinary. Right. Kridhi, make, kshumantam, jaritaram, agne. Jaritri is the one who lauds the flame, who expresses the divine qualities of the flame within. Make him, O fire, make thy adorer one full of possessions, kshumantam. Kshumat, abounding in food, nourishing, nutritious, strong, powerful, robust. All these words are secondary. They are made by translators who could not understand this word at all. Sri Aurobindo translates full of possessions. Make him the master of his own being. Kridhi kshumantam jaritaram agne, kridhi patim suapatyasya rayach, of the wealth which is abandoning in apatya, in the offspring, in the perfect offspring of the being, wealth. make him the possessor or the master of that wealth. Yeah, these are very loaded meanings. How can Agni make me a master of the wealth which is full of the future impact on future generations, future humanity, my own reincarnation in the future? Make me the master of that wealth which has an impact in the future. We can translate in this way. But it is very loaded meaning. We don't think in those terms. We do not have that mind. We are so narrow, so, looking under our nose. We never think about being a master of our future wealth. So, who thinks about it? Well, maybe we think somebody wants to become millionaire, so he is thinking about that million he will possess. But not in this kind, of the spiritual wealth. I want to be a master of my spiritual wealth, which has the future, which will continue, which will grow and make an impact on the world. And the last verse of this hymn, number 6, Sainani kena suvidatro asme yashtadevan ayajishtach suasti adabdho gopa utanach paraspa agni diumat utare vad didihi. O fire, shine forth with this force of thine in us. So shine forth with this force of thine in us. One perfect in knowledge, one who worships the gods and is strong for sacrifice. Be our indomitable guardian and our protector to take us to the other side, Paraspara. Flame in us with thy light, flame in us with thy opulence. With your living force in us, perfect in knowledge, who brings down the gods, making sacred their and our well-being. Invincible protector and fulfiller of light, and our protector. O Agni, shine in us with light and richness. When we read such verses, we feel, that was my reflection, we feel that the openness and nakedness of the Rishi's spirit. When Rishi says, shine in us as our invincible protector and fulfiller of your light in us. Adabdho gopa utanach paraspa. He invokes the divine power within to destroy the resisting darkness of mortality. There is something in us which always resists this change, and we need to invoke the divine power to grow in us and to meet this darkness in us, because we are this transformative station through which everything is being changed. Individually we have to change, and to become this torch of the divine presence in the life. And this torch will take and change everything around us. It will change through our thoughts, illumined through our words, flaming through our feelings, being pure and piercing deep into the darkness, through our bodies, acting right and true. So we generate the world around us, but we have to be first transformed. It is our immediate obligation. So when he speaks this way, I can immediately feel his nakedness of his spirit, his purity, and his task to maintain that purity and spread it all over. So Rishi is on another side of consciousness, not on this side of the darkness. He's not speaking from the point of view of darkness. He's speaking from the point of view of the light meeting darkness. Yes, and this is a very different view on life. We usually speak from the weak point, darker point, incapable point, to become more capable, to become more pure. So we are looking evolutionary at the world. Yeah, we want to evolve, to change. But Rishi looks at it from another point of the light of consciousness in him onto the darkness, and invokes that light to grow, not to be suffocated by the darkness. All right, I will stop here. If you have any questions or want to share something, please go ahead.
Just before you end, Vladimir, you have written resting instead of resisting in that last one. Here. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Thank you. Resting darkness. Well, it is resting. The whole somewhere. It's a very inertia of our being, which does not want to change. How beautifully Sri Aurobindo speaks about that inertia also, which does not want to change. Actually, it's very needed. In the human cycle, he says that everything which was achieved already in the past is of value to the future, because it resists, of course, the change, but it has something which will have value in the future also. Interesting, yeah? Because there's something was achieved there in the moment. Many things have to change in that resisting inertia, but there is an element of truth because it endured. It actually established some step on the way, yeah? And there is some true divine value in it, which later will reveal itself at the end. So these steps are also not just steps to be totally changed and demolished, not totally, but partially. It's an interesting thought, anyhow.
Vladimir?
Yes.
Sorry. I was just thinking about that word progeny, meaning that, all of our thoughts, everything about us has an influence as in creation, and so it sheds a different light on our responsibility to ourselves, to life, to make it better, and that we are having an impact. There's no thought that doesn't have an impact, and when people feel like they're not, say, powerful or anything, that's not at all the case. Even if they feel powerless, that is having an effect. That's progeny.
Yeah.
So I was just thinking about the more broad spectrum of what that word actually means.
Yeah. Yeah, to pro means forward, gen means generate forward. Interesting, again, progress, yeah, progeny. This many times you hear from the most ordinary people, we didn't have a good life, but we want good life for our children, yeah, from most ordinary. So this is that, we all hope for the better future. This is the progressive thinking. If not for me, then for my progeny.
You mentioned the word the goat as being, I think, the animal that drives forward. Um, that the word what was there was a Sanskrit word that was equivalent to goat, I
Ajah.
think.
Ajah is from aj root, to drive forward, yes. And from aj root, most probably agni is produced, like bhaj bhagna, bhuj bhugna, aj agna. Yeah? And E is the ending. So Agni is the one who drives forward. He is the engine of progress. Yaska says that Agni is agre nayati iti Agni. Yeah? Yaska is the etymologist, the ancient etymologist of 600 BC. Agre nayati, Agni, yes? Driving forward.
In astrology, when in the sign of Capricorn, which is the goat, it's said that the fires are rekindled in the earth, and that's why when the sun begins to move forward, at the beginning of Capricorn, it starts moving from the southern hemisphere towards the north. That's when there's it's a very auspicious time. It's a very forward-moving time, and the earth begins to warm up.
Mm.
That's
We have a fire inside the earth. Can you imagine? In the core
yeah,
of the earth, there is a
yeah.
flame. There is the hidden sun. Yeah.
Vladimir, while you were speaking, I certainly had a thought. We often think of tamas as inertia,
Mhm.
um, but Sri Aurobindo in one place says it is a state of constant fall. And if we relate that to the being the opposite of constant progress, I think we get an idea of the two sides. That means if we are in tamas, in restful uh, whatever that ignorance, then it's actually not a static thing. It's a falling thing, which means from darkness we keep on going towards the darkness. That is probably tamas, and then any progress forward is a progress.
Yeah,
I don't
but
know if I can
not kind of
explain.
not separating from that falling back, interestingly, because progress cannot be done by leaving tamas where it is, yeah. So it has to be transformed, and because of that, that falling back dynamic, falling down, is actually part of the progress deal. Interesting. Yeah? Tamas supports the moving forward all the time. If it wouldn't be there would be no progress. Yeah? So it pulls down that which moved forward. It pulls it even deeper down and even deeper down. Why? Until it wants to transform the foundations of that fallen state. So it's in a way very active by its inertia and passivity in a way. So it does something. That's what Sri Aurobindo beautifully describes in the human cycle, that inertia has, what I try to say, that inertia has its purpose. Everything which is kind of fixed becomes the step on the way. How else would we progress if nothing is fixed? It would be just fluctuation of things. There would be nothing to move forward or to step onto to move forward. Matter is the best in that case because it fixes a certain progress to a certain degree, and then you have to change, and then again it fixes, and again and again. So basically you can progress because there is this something like Thomas which holds to the change made before. So I remember my kind of revelation in Auroville when I woke up and I saw my motorbike standing in the same position as I left it in the evening. And I thought, wow, look at this. It didn't change. Matter is so well doing. It is holding to the same position. My last move, my last decision to keep it in that way. It's an interesting kind of insight. Yeah, it was silly a bit, but truly speaking, it's all about this, that matter holds. And that's as the servant of the progress.
So when we ask the gods to be stha in us, to be established, we are essentially asking them to step into this darkness.
Absolutely, and they don't want. They love to be in their own lofty light, and they really resist also this. So Agni has to bring them down to command them. He is the divine will. They cannot really disobey his will, so that's why we ask Agni to bring them. We can't bring them. No way. Only Agni we have to propitiate and ask him to bring all the other powers down. They
So
don't
that is
want.
aspiration.
That is aspiration, absolutely.
I also read about the three gunas in the Life Divine the other day. In that, it said that with the Jyoti, the divine light, Tamas becomes Sama, the divine quiet, rest and peace.
Yes.
So it was quite interesting what you're saying.
Right. Well, we are in this dynamic process of finding new and new equilibriums. Every time we arrive at equilibrium and harmony, the moment we arrive, as his mother says, yes, we have to make another disequilibrium and another disequilibrium to arrive at another equilibrium. And that is the progress. Because if we come to equilibrium, if we stay there, and next step will be on the same level, that means we fall back. So there is no way to make two steps of the same kind. You cannot step into the same water twice, as Heraclitus said. Yes, why? Because the time will not allow you to do this. Yeah, we are flying with 1 million kilometers per hour with our solar system. 1 million kilometers per hour. We are covering new space. We are totally new beings. Many times in this very class that we met in this session, we changed and became young and young again because we meet new space. It's a new opportunity. And if we, sit in the same place, in the same position, without changing, then time will eat us up. It will wear us up. Yeah? That's what it does. That's why we are getting old.
And then that is the mastery over the children of our actions to ensure that they don't fall in the future.
Most probably. I didn't think of that. Yes. That's an interesting thought. Yes, that we will be dynamically in resonance or in unison with the time beats. Yeah. to be totally constantly moving together, 1 million kilometers per hour progress. If we catch up with that speed, we will be all right. We will be immortals. You know this even if we take Einstein formula, then when you speed up to the light speed, the time stops. So that is immortality.
Vladimir,
Even on the physical level. Yes, Deepti.
in the same line of thought, like Kinshika was saying, so those who are perfect in knowledge, and if it is linked to those who are constantly creating in the moment, linking the word progeny to creation, those who are ever creating.
Yeah, very nice. Very good thought. Progeny
So even
and creative power. Yes,
so
absolutely.
in the ancient texts, when they said barren, like most of the things were not allowed for those who were, I've forgotten the word, but they used to mention this barren, and we used to take it literally, saying that those who are childless, but it's actually those who are not able to create, right? Something
Right.
like that. Then.
In the in the Rigvedic
Yeah, in the
terms,
Vedic,
yes.
Rigvedic text.
Yes, yes. But later, of course, it boils down to this producing children mainly. But the idea still is Vedic. Why the kings had to have the progeny, yes, the son. Why it was so important to pass forward. What was passed forward? Of course, the whole kingdom was his property. Yeah? But it's not about property. It's even of any ordinary man, layman, yeah? He wants to have a progeny, so there is no property. He is totally poor, but he has so many children. So there is nothing to pass to them, but they are there. They continue something, some change in his consciousness. They multiply. That adjustment of the genome which he got through epigenetics, through all his feelings, emotions, everything he passes forward. And not only in the subtle way, but also as genetic code to his children.
Vladimir,
Of course, they have their own souls. Yes, Jayashri.
I was just thinking, from listening to the Deepti and Kinshuk, and also what we read here, I was just thinking that our thoughts are also our progeny.
Yes.
And the Agni, the intensity of the Agni in our thoughts is creative or not. If it is an intense Agni, the thought is creative, productive, moving forward. If the Agni is weak, the aspiration or will is also weak, and therefore the thought is weak, then the progeny is weak.
Absolutely.
So I was building that further, and I thought, sometimes we have our children who are weak in either their health or they're weak in the expression of life. How they do in life, they don't do very well. It could be because at the time of conception, our thoughts and our consciousness was weak.
Or they are just like this. They are weak souls. They are not yet totally strong.
But we attracted the weak soul because we were weak at that moment.
Right.
Our thoughts were not forceful, not creative. They were weak in their flame. They were weak in their aspiration. So the child conceived is also weak in expression in life.
Yeah.
Could it be that way?
Could be every way possible, yes, and even that way, every way. Sometimes they say that when the children are totally different from their parents,
yes,
that on this generation, the great parents are resting, so there's nobody there. The weak personality comes in. So, but you see, everything is possible. we should not underestimate the soul spark, which is already developing. What came, yes, into maybe my experience of my soul wanted to have a weak child. Maybe I was making a plan to take a weak child and see what I can do to make it strong. Yeah? I do not know. I'm just telling something which we do not see the whole complexity of relations, yeah, and needs for the development, because we are all to move forward, but there are so many weak personalities, so many weak individuals around us, sensual individuals. I would recommend you to read the Human Cycle, chapter 7, 8, and 9. My God, everything, all the answers are there of what is humanity, of what is sensual humanity, through what period we are going. Sri Aurobindo says the major preoccupation of human being is to build individual personality. His major preoccupation should be art, literature, philosophy, aesthetics, ethics. This is his major preoccupation, not economical life, not earning money around and spending in the supermarket. It is a barbaric culture. It's a barbaric culture raised to its utmost, where industrialist and businessman is ruling the rest, has no idea what is philosophy, despises the great and higher thoughts, despises poetry, doesn't understand a thing of beauty. It is all only utilitarian for him. So he wants to use it to multiply his sensual possession. That's it. That boils down to that primitive level, and aggrandizing this animal part in human being, blocking his further progress and development. If we think about this, you will see the world today, politics, everything boils down to this. It's amazing. He has all the answers. Just read that through and you will see what we are to become. And now we are reading the Veda. And the Veda is igniting in us higher thoughts, higher aspirations. We are becoming for a moment free from that grip of, of the world putting us down to this sensual enjoyment. Makes sense? I'm very critical now. Sri Aurobindo is much more critical than we think. We think Sri Aurobindo is so, kind. He is kind, but he is so sharp in these chapters you have to read. The civilization and barbarism, how he describes what is barbarism.
Which book is it, Vladimir? And
The
which book
Human
is this
Cycle.
chapter?
The Human Cycle, you read from the beginning, but these are 7th, 8th, and 9th chapter. The civilization and barbarism, civilization and culture. He looks into what is culture and how, yes, this is the guide for all humanity. I wanted to send this to Biden to read, to understand at least what is going on, because he doesn't understand. He intuitively feels where to go, but because of this economic, this, what Sri Aurobindo says, commercialism, everything has become commercial. Everything, even knowledge, it is commercial. If it doesn't bring you to some commercial result, it has no value. You have to sell knowledge. Look at our educational system, Harvard, God. What to say more? Harvard. It's all commercial, nothing else. It's a big business. Health is business, beauty is business, even enjoyment, Sri Aurobindo says, is business. Enjoyment is the business. It should never be business.
Vladimir, how do you find the balance?
Balance, very right. We have to grow individually, he says. Grow individually. This is your first and most important task. We are here to progress. There is no way to change the world unless you change yourself, yes? And that's what we are trying to look into. And the Veda is the very powerful means, yeah? And not only the Veda, all Indian literature, Upanishads, Gita, Sri Aurobindo, take them and grow with them. They tune us. We can feel freedom for a second or two, and then we come back to life again.
Are we, what do you think, Vladimir? Is it the meditation? It's like every day meditating for a certain number of hours that really works, or like this active looking at and concentrating upon and surrendering, if that is enough?
I think whatever works for you. Maybe meditation is needed once in a while. Maybe you feel like, finding yourself, focusing yourself, finding the silent mind, silencing the mind, calming the mind, separating your calm and silent mind from your active mind, and starting to be in charge of yourself, not to be driven by the world so easily, not to be taken by its own, bribing you to be dragged down to the sensual level of life. So once you can withstand that, as the Rishi says in the Veda, Abhisyama pritsutir martiyanam, we withstand the oppression of mortals. If you can withstand the oppression of mortals, so find that calm mind which will give you rest to your inner being, and will not be easily bribed by the outer activities. That is the way to go. How you achieve it? Through meditation, through thinking, through reading. You just have to know the direction where you have to go. And then use all the means, all the time, whatever works.
And meditating, like you meditate upon, like I sometimes meditate upon the picture of Mother or Sri Aurobindo
Also
or
wonderful,
somebody.
wonderful. They will connect you. Some people go through the picture so far that they can awaken their psychic being. What works for you? For others, pictures do not work. More ideas. For others, for me, separation of the mind works best. Invocation of Sri Aurobindo and the Mother. There is a mantra by which you can invoke Sri Aurobindo and the Mother. If you do it very sincerely, very slowly, you will feel immediately their presence.
What is that mantra? I know Om Namo Bhagavate, but the one?
Oh, this Ya Devi, if you remember, we spoke about it. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Matri Rupena Sanstita. I sent even this mantra before to everyone.
No? Okay,
No?
I didn't get it. No.
Okay, I will send you then later. I even recorded it somewhere for our sleep course to fall asleep with this mantra.
That's really nice, actually. I want to do it. I think earlier it was easy for me to surrender completely before going to sleep. Somehow I feel so tamasic, and it's so difficult for me to surrender. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, there are easier times, there are more difficult times. We are more blocked sometimes, we are more open sometimes, but we have still to go forward. Yeah, there is no way that we can stop. All right. Okay, we can stop here for today, and I will close with mantra. Next time, I do not know whether we will meet because we will be traveling from Charlotte. Maybe next time. What is next? It's 31st or something, huh? No, it's 28th. We will meet on 28th, yeah? Not on next time because we will be traveling, I guess. Better we keep it this one week off, and it will be Christmas, so you will be happy to have some. I do not know, some of you have Christmas. Not everyone. In India, it's not very interesting thing. But in the US, people are busy. Mother says the Christmas is the celebration of light. So take it in that way. Yeah? Celebrating light, birth of light, because we are moving over this solstice, yeah, winter solstice to the rising of the sun, to Devayana part of the year. All right. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hare Om.